All right, the time is 7 p.m. On what is today? The 14th of May, 2024. We'll kick off the Montourville Area School District Board of Directors meeting. We'll kick it off on time. We got a big agenda tonight. So I ask you all, please join me in saluting the flag with a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, before we proceed through everything today, I want to make a motion to amend 8.2 on the agenda tonight to remove the Director of Curriculum and Instruction position for a vote, but we'll leave the Health and Physical Education position on there. You okay with that? I'll take a motion to approve that.
Make a motion to remove 8.2 off the agenda.
We'll leave 8.2 beyond that. We'll leave the Health and the
Yeah.
Physical Education and Health
The
position, but the Director of Curriculum.
I second it.
Second? All right. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Right, very well. So when we get to that, we'll just vote on the Health and Physical Education position. All right. Taking things off with recognitions and presentations tonight. We have any here other than the ones that are already on the agenda? All right, student representative presentation. Sebastian to the rescue.
Here, every single meeting.
You know, Melody, I struggle up here too, so it's okay.
But
Yesterday, I was gonna say yesterday was
Good
great.
night, very nice.
Nice diversion.
I'll talk about the weather.
While we do that, I did bring this picture. We had the GENIAL seminar back in March, but we got our picture with Senator Yaw, and I just will pass that around so you guys can look at it. But I covered that already, but it was definitely a lot of fun. Just a little tidbit, we're not like supporting a specific political party either. It was just an opportunity that Senator Yaw has been doing for years and years that our school has been one of the largest participants of. So here's a lot of the honors CSS class in attendance, and Mr. Long, our advisor, and then Senator Yaw is on the left. As it passes around, that's what that is.
So Melody, what would you say your biggest takeaway from that was?
So definitely, like personally, I really love government and politics, so I really enjoyed having that mock, like bills, debating upon them. Because we got all of these, and a lot of the bills were actually bills that are currently being debated in our state house and senate. So it was really fun to look at them, but also deconstruct them a little bit. Like mine was a bill that was very extreme, like in one way, and then when we got into our debate room, we were like, yeah, this is not going to work. So we deconstructed it the whole morning, and presenting it was great. But I think it's a good way for students to really really see that legislative process and understand also how to compromise and how difficult it can be. Yeah.
It's great. Thank you. That worked out.
So I have a different presentation. Now just a little year in review, because this will be my last meeting with you all. So it has been an honor, and I very much enjoyed it. So September, not a whole lot. We had first day of school, football, like sports were kicking off, and the homecoming court was announced at the very end. So just a few pictures, like first day of school, students excited to be back. talking to friends. We had the football games. Then when we hit October, it got a little busier, so we had all of the homecoming festivities as well as some band and choir stuff going on, and the clubs were they were going off. So we had the homecoming dance, which was a lot of fun. Just a few club activities like Spanish club and yearbook sorting everybody's yearbook pictures and IDs. Football, we have cross country. Then in November, we had kind of the end to the fall sports and moving a little bit more into winter. We had the big Veterans Day assembly here. The theater department put on the play Hurry Up and Wait. There was the first act deck meet, and there were district band pre-auditions then. So just a few snippets from that. The play. And then we hit December, which was probably one of the busiest times of the year. There was just so much going on. So we had the annual craft fair. We had Key Club helping with the Oh What Fun event at Lighter. The student government had a canned food drive that was very successful. The big talent show, fall sports pep rally, choir and band concerts. And then we had the new Broad Street decorating contest offered by the Chamber of Commerce, which I look forward to seeing where that goes next year too, hopefully expanding it. So just some more pictures, the displays, the talent show. All right, then we hit January, also pretty busy and also a very successful month for our school because we had the FBLA Region 7 conference. Mock trial had a competition in Pittsburgh that I'm pretty sure they qualified for states at that one, or they just did very well. We had Mr. Montour, district band, district choir, which we hosted here. And then academic decathlon also had their winter scrimmage here. So there's FBLA, mock trial, Mr. Montour, act deck, and band, and choir. All right, then we hit February. So we had the academic decathlon district competition where they qualified for states, and then mock trial also qualified for states now. More pictures from that. Mock trial, Lucy going, woo, we made it to states. Then in March, as I said earlier, we had the Senator Jean Yall Conference. Academic Decathlon had their state meet. There was regional choir where sophomore Allie Ravert qualified for state, so her picture will be up on the wall there soon. We had the Warrior Cafe start up as well, and then the musical Freaky Friday. So some more pictures from that. There's the Jean Yall, our celebratory Dairy Queen run after it. The Warrior Cafe. And then we hit April. So that was FBLA States, Model UN, Key Club District Convention, the Dream Learn Pitch Competition, which you will hear from in just a second, the MS Walk, and then the primary election and row kappa polls. So here's some Freaky Friday pictures. And then I apologize for the selfie, but I wanted to represent the row kappa in the election polls because we send out students for the primary and general election to understand how the election process works by working either half days or full days at like local precincts. So that's me after I voted at the Montoursville one. But we had probably over 10 students out that day just learning about it. And then we also had Model UN, where we got another trophy for the trophy case as the most accurate representation for the Russian delegation, which was kind of a compliment, kind of not. And then they had district convention there, Mason earning that wonderful award, again, that they'll talk about in a second. FBLA. And then we have hit this month and kind of some stuff coming up. So they had a drive your tractor to school day, which was kind of funny to see after looking out Mr. Barber's window. Chord ceremonies are coming up, end of the year meetings for our clubs. AP testing is currently happening. It was AP Lang and AP Physics today, so my heart goes out to those students. So we have the band Cleveland trip also coming up where we'll be performing at Cedar
Cedar Point in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Prom as well is coming up, which students are getting very excited for. And it's honestly, we're just hitting finals time, and it is the final stretch for the students, but also administrators and all of that. So we have all of that graduation fun, baccalaureate, all that good stuff coming up. We had our choir and band concerts here, and then there's also Ray of Lights this weekend. So hopefully Montours will represent us well there. There's the tractor day. And yeah, that's the only picture because the month just started. But I just wanted to take a second and thank all of you for this amazing opportunity. It was just wonderful, not just loving government and getting into it, but just a really great way to understand how difficult all of your guys' jobs are. And I just hope for all of you that you continue to do amazing things for this school and the students, because even if we don't voice it enough, we are very appreciative of everything that you do for us to make this school one of the best in the area. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Melanie, I want to thank you for your service here as the student rep to the board. Your presentations have been fantastic, and really allows board members to see what we do within the walls of our schools. So much appreciated. I know you have bigger and better things coming your way. Your future is very bright. So
And we
thank
hope
you for your
amazing things
service.
for you too.
If you wanted to do a fifth year here, we could probably.
I personally am going to miss your presentation. So
Absolutely.
whoever comes up next has big shoes to fill.
I'll send it to 10.
Okay.
Thank you very much. All right. Moving on to the reading of the minutes, 2.1 approval of regular meeting minutes, April 9th, 2024, work session, April 23rd, 2024. Take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Need a
Yes.
Oh,
second.
sorry, I'm excited. Mr. House, next second. Okay, now do we have any questions, comments? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, thank you very much. All right, prior presentation period. We have Mrs. Linda Kaiser and Mason Morrow.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Linda Kaiser, and you already know Melody, and she is also in my book club, and as you know, she's amazing. And she showed you all the students that are amazing in a diverse academic setting. But I'm here to introduce Mason Morrow. Mason came to me as a 10th grader in my Management 105 class. And part of the curriculum in the Management 105 class is we learn how to do a business pitch. We do a business plan, and then they do an elevator speech. And we compete in what's called Dream Learn Pitch. And Dream Learn Pitch is a competition. There's a regional level and a state level where students come up with a business idea and then they pitch it. And Mason, as a 10th grader, placed first with Aiden Cohen pitching his hot sauce. But at that point, he had not made it to the state level. So after, and I'm not going to take all of his thunder, but after the hot sauce, he came up with pistachio, roasting pistachios, and I don't want to take away his thunder, so I'm going to let him talk now. So, Nathan?
So with my pistachios, I came home one day from school and my stepdad back here brought home smoked pistachios and I tried them. I was like, they're really good, but there's just something not quite right about them. And I wanted to make them better. And so I tried out myself. I tried making smoked pistachios. I just did a little bag of them and they were really good. And I remembered about the Dream Learn Pitch competition that I did in 10th grade. And I came up to Miss Kaiser this year and I said to her, I was like, Miss Kaiser, I got a great idea. I want to do it again. And I ended up doing it again, and you had to submit a video pitch in February. And they got back to me in March, and they told me that I made it to the state level. And that was actually the day I got back from my FBLA trip, which was really cool because that was great news once I got back. And so that was awesome. I went out in the hallway, I called my parents, I was like, guys, I made it. And they're like, oh, that's awesome. And it was 10 days away, and I wasn't prepared, and I was a little nervous. But I prepared myself enough, and I showed up to the competition. I was like, I know my business the best, and I'm gonna just give it my all. And there's probably 50 people I had to present in front of because there was all the other teams there. And I ended up presenting in front of them all. I shook the judge's hand. They said, good job. I sat down, and it was super suspenseful because they announced it from 10th to first place. And so I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, don't call my name yet. My name. And they didn't call my name. And I was just like, that must mean I got first. I turned to Miss Kimball because she had to go with me because Miss Kaiser was out. I was like, hey, they didn't call my name yet. I think that means I got first. And it was super exciting. I went up, I got my award, and I came home and I had a tennis match the day of. And I showed up to my tennis match in my suit, and I come out to the coach and I greeted him, and he ended up asking me if I even wanted to play or not because I showed up in a suit to a tennis match. I ended up playing. I had my tennis uniform in my truck, and but I want to show you guys my pistachios themselves because they started off in plastic bags with a little handwritten sticker. I'm gonna pass that around. And I eventually ended up getting heat sealed bags with nutrition, well, ingredient labels on the back. I'm not gonna call it nutrition yet. And so it was really awesome. And I came back the day of, and I told Mr. King in his office. I walked back, and I didn't know this, but Miss Kaiser already emailed everybody and told them. But I come walking back, and I told Mr. King, and he stood up, he shook my hand, and he said, come with me, we're gonna go tell Mr. Tormina. And we went walking back, and he asked me if I wanted to do this, and I just thought he was kidding. So I was just like, yeah, sure, why not? And so then about 10 days ago, roughly, he came up to me and said, hey, be there Tuesday. I was like, wait, be where? And he said, at the board meeting, we're gonna talk about it. And I was like, oh, awesome, thank you. And so I called my mom again. I was like, hey, I got to talk about this at the board meeting. And she was like, oh, that's awesome. And so I had to come up with something to say again. And so I decided, what better than to pass around pistachios for you guys to check them out. And it's really been a great experience. I'm glad I was able to tell you guys about them. And I just want to thank Ms. Kaiser for teaching me about elevator pitches, and she's been my business teacher for 3 years now, and I've had a great experience, and she's done very well. I just want to thank her for that because it really means a lot to me, because I really like doing business, and I never thought I would until Ms. Kaiser taught me. So that's about it.
I want to point out that Mason is not only an entrepreneur, but he also went to States for accounting. And he really shows a lot of potential besides being an entrepreneur in the business field. So very proud of him.
It's great. So are we. Nice job, Dave. That's all. This had to be easy compared to giving your pitch to 50 people, I would imagine. Nice job. All right, moving on to 3.2, we have an update from Site Logic folks.
First of all, that's a tough act to follow. I want to talk a little bit,
Yeah, good
talk
luck.
about our placement on the agenda, Mr. Tammy. I'm Wayne Brookhart. I am a senior business consultant with SiteLogic, also a board member in Danville. So I commend you for what you do and appreciate the time you're giving us to speak with you tonight and update where we stand. You may remember a little over a month ago, I believe we were here. Damian Spar was with me. We talked a little bit the same night the LICO CTC presentation took place, just to update you on where we stand. You had brought us on at one point to take a look at a prior study you had done of your elementary schools. I still think at that point it was a little bit more expansive. It was Crabtree Rohrbaugh who had done that. And we're here to either validate or to find things that maybe we differ with. And we gave you a brief presentation tonight on where we stand. We're preliminary at this point, but we do anticipate finishing by the end of June, which is what we had anticipated when you first hired us. I'm going to turn things over to Melissa Colstock. Melissa is our Director of Deliverables, and she is coordinating our efforts here at Montoursville. Melissa?
Thank you so much, Wayne. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for having us and providing us the opportunity to give this update. I just want to thank Joe here for your accommodating our staff to be able to come into your buildings. We just appreciate your level of effort and coordination that always helps things go seamlessly and keeps us on track. So shout out to you. As Wayne had suggested, we're here to engage with the district and really review and update that study that was conducted in 2020. Our focused efforts are truly on the elementary schools, right? We're looking to evaluate Loyalsock as well as LIDAR, and we will be focused primarily on three pieces, really looking at operational efficiency of those facilities. As part of our report and our assessment, we will be giving you a very detailed account of the asset conditions within those facilities. So breaking apart those building components so you can understand how all of those pieces are performing. And then ultimately, there will be a very clear recommendation for combined or separate schools within the district as far as those elementary schools are concerned. It should be noted that these recommendations that we're making, we are not making those in a vacuum. These are all conversations that occur with feedback and teaming with the district as far as information that we need, as well as information that we're getting from Crabtree from the study, and as well as follow-up conversations with them. And you can see what some of those components equal whenever we say we're having those teaming discussions. So the district will be able to provide us with information when we look to evaluate the student population, proximity to the facilities. Crabtree will be able to help inform very clearly the educational program and the elementary school's ability to meet that. And then you can see what we've highlighted and focused on for SiteLogic is, you know, evaluating those current conditions and the district's ability to maintain the facility. A few other ideas that we will be combining our thoughts and getting some feedback on with the district and the architect are really exploring and understanding those educational advantages of either combined or separate schools, as well as operational efficiencies within those facilities. I can say that over the past few months, as we've been looking, we have some preliminary indications. The initial facility assessment of Loyalsock building conditions right now for us is not justifying long-term continued use. And we understand that through the Crabtree study, they have indicated that there could be better opportunities for the educational program delivery through a consolidation. We will continue to explore that in our report. Additionally, we will verify the operational cost reductions through those potential consolidations. And just as a result of those initial findings, you know, we're anticipating providing a recommendation to close Loyalsock and consolidate, but our review is ongoing. We still have some conversations that need to take place before we can release that on schedule, but everything, as I said, is going well and is on schedule. And what I can show you is just a high-level overview of these planning milestones, so you can plan to have your discussions and we can support them as needed. So you can see January through May. Right now, we're just wrapping up everything. We started our study efforts late January, beginning of February. We've conducted our facility survey assessments. We're going through, developing our report, which in a few weeks or, next month, we will be able to come back and provide a review to you with those preliminary recommendations, and then you'll have a copy of that report. And then in July, you can start to determine whether or not a consolidation or maintaining elementary schools is feasible. So that is all that I have. I'm happy, if there's any questions, please let me know.
I think you'll expect some in June, but.
I understand that. So please feel free to reach out through email if there's any follow-up, and we look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we get a copy of that?
Yep.
I was just gonna ask that.
Yeah, I'll send that out.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the public comment section of the agenda. This is for residents and taxpayers to comment on matters of concern, official action, or deliberation before the board. You will receive 1 3-minute unpaused time period to do so.
Hello, everyone. My name is Catherine Burns, 219 White Church Road, Muncie, Pennsylvania. And I'm here to just to speak of the proposed tax increase that's being considered. And I'm going to read. My sister was on the school board and I attended many meetings. We know how persuasive others can be to go against what you know is right. You'll be told that if you do not vote for a tax increase, that you do not care about the students and you're a bad person, and the people in the community will not like you. Don't believe that. We hear what is going on is going to is going to cost our budget just isn't going to be enough. When will it be enough? What is the administration doing to cut costs? We could pool our resources with neighboring school districts. We have a great ag program and we pay to send students to LICO CTC. Why not have other districts pay to send students to our ag program? Why we could share teachers and split the cost of a teacher, pay them a bit more and have them teach come from other districts as well as Montoursville. That's art teachers, language teachers, and science teachers. We have a great football field with a great press box. We could lease it to other districts and organizations. These are moneymakers that we could use instead of coming in with a tax increase. Don't let people feel like you're hurting the children if you vote no on a tax increase, because voting yes will mean that the parents have to work longer hours, put additional hardships on the families. It's going to take time away from the children, the home, and money out of the family pocket that could be used for food, clothes, and home improvements. If you vote no, you're showing the students in the community that you do care. The administration will find a way to fund what they need in the way of an increase. How many of you attended the homeschool art show held in Savoy Plaza, April 27th? Only one to my knowledge. You others may have been busy. That show had entrance of 142 students. They were participants. There were an additional 500 people that attended that show. There are 650 homeschool students in Lycoming County, and that number does not include the students in charter schools or private schools. The administration has spent hundreds of dollars on studies of buildings in the district. How much money has been spent to see why students are choosing alternative options for education? That's including homeschool, charter school, and private schools. They're learning in homes, all different types, from apartments to trailers to mansions and private schools. They're leaving the school district. When are we going to realize that the building does not matter? It's the teachers' attitudes. The attitudes of the administration, the understanding and the discipline and the respect for the child and the family. That's what it is. I'm asking you to vote no on a tax increase because it's not going to benefit the children. It's not the building. I'm going to hand you each a breakdown of a typical list of expenses from a married senior couple in Montoursville School District. I would like you to review it. And after looking at this, ask yourself how many seniors can absorb the increased cost of utilities, school, and property taxes. We've got to stop driving the seniors out of the community. Sheriff sales are ugly. and they're going to increase on a regular basis. So I'm asking you, please, when you're thinking about this, think of the kids and think of the seniors, and I'll give these to you, and I appreciate this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. I appreciate what you've done.
Jack Callahan, 113 Art Street, Torzo. I want to talk about this message board that we don't have out in front of the school. I think every school has one, but this school. I don't know if the new one that down at Montgomery has one, or the Warrior Run. I don't know if they have it. But all our elementary schools and middle school has one. And I'd like to see us have a message board in front of the high school. Now, Crabtree said they were going to check on the codes and variances. I don't know if they have gotten back to you or not. Also, the scoreboard out there at the football field. Barry Schreider used to put messages on there. Now there hasn't been any messages on that thing for years. Under the thing written on the scoreboard. And if it's there, if it's broken, it's broken. If it's not, I'd like to see messages, you know, like happy birthday to so and so, or you know, or something, or whatever. Also, I'd like to know if we had a class play this year. Did we have a class play? Oh, no, I mean a class play, a musical or anything. Okay, and did any of our actresses or actors, are they up for any of the, like the awards? Yeah, I know we have some pretty good actors and actresses in that. Okay. And this is May Day. This is May. We used to have a May Day here. We had the first in the area. And they used to have May Court, a maypole, and all that. Now we have nothing. I don't know if that could ever be brought back, but there's a lot of stuff that isn't being brought back for whatever reason. But I gotta say that May Day was really, really good. It was for the students in the daytime and for the mothers and the parents at night. It went over real well. And I'd just like to see that. But I don't know if it's possible to bring that back. You can't bring back rooting them or the Snowball Queen or the Snowflake Queen. You can't bring those back either. So there's a lot of stuff that could be done. And, you know, I don't know if it could be tried again or not. And
Jack,
but,
Jack, I hate to cut you off, but we got a big agenda, lots of people talking. You're more than welcome to come back up for the second
Yeah,
half.
all right.
Your thoughts. Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it. We love hearing you talk, so come back up. All right, seeing no one else in the room, we'll go to Zoom. If anyone would like to make, oh, never mind. It's all right. Stand by, Zoom.
Hi, Paul Rinker, 1102 Chestnut Street. Wanted to talk to you about your budget, or lack of a budget, whichever. Most people come up with a budget, they figure out what they have, and then they fit their expenses into the budget. For some reason, the school district figures out what they want and figure out how to get the money for their budget. That's not how it should work. Now, I get it. Everything's gone up, we have inflation, dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. I get that. What you don't seem to get is that everybody in the school district is in that same boat. Their money doesn't go as far as it used to either. They've had to make cuts. Some of them are just cutting luxuries. They're scaling back or eliminating vacations. They're getting rid of their streaming services or getting rid of pizza night. But some people have had to go farther than that. They're cutting deep. They're cutting back on meat. They're eating beans. They're eating canned vegetables instead of fresh vegetables. They're still eating most of them. Some of them have had to cut back from 3 meals a day to 2 or even more. On top of that now, you want to give them a tax increase. So you say, it's only $100. Well, $100 means a lot to somebody who's already right there on the edge. You know, that could be shoes and clothes for some kid for the first day of school next fall. Do you care about that? Or do we only care about the well-to-do families? This school district, as far as I can tell, hasn't even looked at their luxuries, what they can cut back on. It's take last year's budget and see how we can pay for that and maybe a little more. It's hard work to make a budget work. Do the hard work. Break it down. Start from ground zero. What do we really need? And then when you get what you really need, see if you can afford some of the nice stuff. But don't go loading this stuff onto people who are already overtaxed and overburdened and beat up by a crappy economy. And for the board, if these administrators cannot or will not figure out how to do it, what do we need them for? If they won't do it, replace them. If we have to pay them a little money to go away to do that, hey, it's probably money well spent.
All right, so that's your 3 minutes are up. Thank you. If you want to come back up, you're more than welcome to. Continue in the second half.
That's what I had to say. Thanks.
All right.
I got to catch a softball game.
All right. Lucky you. All right. All right. No one else in the room. We'll go to Zoom. If you're interested in comments, raise your hand. All right, seeing none there, we will move on to the business manager's report. This is me.
Five point one, you have received copies of the treasurer's reports for the period ending April 30th, 2024 for the general fund and cafeteria fund. We are submitting these to the board for your consideration of approval and payment.
All right, the motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second. Any questions? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. Budgetary transfers.
5.2, you have received copies of the budgetary transfers for the general fund. We are submitting these to the board for your consideration of approval. Also included with some of these are, just some acknowledgement ones in there also. They were mixed together.
All right, we'll take a motion to approve those.
Second.
Questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Very well, 5.3.
You've received copies of listing invoices for the general fund and cafeteria fund for the period ending May 14th, 2024. We are submitting these to the board for your consideration of approval and payment.
All right, take a motion to approve those.
Motion.
Questions? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, 5.4.
I need a roll call.
Oh, okay, I thought we did, the budgetary transfers, that's why I got
Doing them
confused.
together with 5.2.
No, my bad, I apologize.
Oh, for roll call for the presentation of bills is, Mr. Albert,
Yes.
Mr. Badger,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yeah.
Mr. Hosnick,
Yes.
Ms. Boyd,
Yes.
Mrs. Meyer,
Yes.
Mrs. Oberheim. Yes. And Mr. Young.
Yeah.
And then on to the budget presentation. Tonight you'll be approving the proposed, final budget. And, this is the updated version of the budget here. We'll go through this quickly. I've included many of the slides that, you have seen in the past so that you have them here for reference. Also, I have included some new slides to answer some of the questions that you have asked about, at the previous board meeting to provide you with some additional information. For this budget presentation, I was asked to prepare a budget by the board last time with a 0.75 millage increase. So that takes it to 17.28, and that's what I'm presenting this evening with an increase of current real estate taxes in the amount of $566,050. Interim real estate taxes, no increase over last year. Utility tax, up $1,000 over last year. Earned income tax here, you'll see that, our earned income tax has really increased, for our area for Montoursville, and we've seen a significant increase, and I'm confident that we are going to be right around what we came in at for 22-23, this current year. So we are going to budget that at the 4.4 million, which is a $300,000 increase. Real estate transfer tax increase, we increased that a little bit over last year's budget, but did not go up to where we were at in 22-23. Oh, I didn't pass those out, I'm sorry. So you'll see an increase of 40,000. Continuing on to earnings on investments. You'll see in 22-23, we were in around 440,000. We budgeted last year 200,000, and this year we've increased that to 250,000. The reason not increasing it to where we were in 22-23 is the year prior to that, we were around $10,000. It fluctuates with the economy, and little things can fluctuate it very much. And that's not something you can always count on. So we're kind of taking a medium road on that and projecting that here. The IDA funding, we funded it to where we are this year, which is or what we received in 22-23, which is $356,559, which is a $25,000 increase. The tuition payments, we see a decrease in for the 24-25 budget, and that is because we are doing away with the driver's ed. So overall, you'll see a local revenue increase of just short of $1 million, $956,267. So that is your local revenue. What? Previously, so I just wanted to leave that in there in case anyone has any further questions on the assessments in our district. The state revenue here, as you can see here, the basic ed subsidy is an increase of $434,884 over last year's budget, which is currently what we are receiving in this year's year. And there is a reminder slide in here that we are still waiting on the state's budget to pass to update the basic ed and special ed funding because there are some things going on with that currently. And FICA changes with your payroll changes. So you'll see an increase of $7,246 there. Special education, you'll see an increase of $43,466, which is what we are receiving in this current year. Transportation, sorry. Transportation, you'll see an increase of $84,401, and that is due to increased transportation needs. As our transportation needs increase, our subsidy return also increases. Rental and sinking fund payments, that is a decrease of $4,866. Medical and dental is a decrease in about $3,000. That's primarily due to just changes in student population. State property tax reduction allocation came out this couple weeks ago. And we have an increase in that of $130,468. So that decreases the tax revenue because that money goes back to the taxpayers. And then the other state income is our retirement subsidy. And as retirement and payroll changes, you'll see that also changes with that. And that was an increase of $19,700. So overall, our state revenue increased $712,299 over last year. So here's the slide here to remind you that we're still waiting on the state budget to be passed to update the basic ed funding and the special education funding. Expenditures, you'll see our wages increased almost 55% right now, but you can see the total dollar amounts there. 1.38% was our wage increases. Our employee benefits increased 4.55%. Our professional and technical services decreased by 5.68%. And I'll just throw in a little bit of info here on that. We received the IU contract, which you're voting on this evening, and that has been updated in this most current budget. And with that, we took out some speech and language services and are hiring someone through the district to provide those services. So that's why you see the increase in wage and benefits, but the decrease and services. So that's part of that change there. The 400s, you'll see a 2.25% increase. Where you see the big one is the other purchase services of almost $1 million, which is a 33.52% increase. And I'll touch a little bit on that. There was some questions in regards to our cyber charter school expenses and where they've been. And I have some information to share with you on a slide further on that information. Supplies, your 600s were up 14.5%. That is just general supplies are up a lot and just some of the needs have changed. Property, you'll see that is up 37.06% over the prior year. Other objects is up 8%. And then the use of other funds is up 6.72%. Overall, the budget is up over the budget from 23-24, but it is less than the actuals from 23 or from 22-23. So it looks funny there, but there was COVID money being spent in 22-23, which makes the expenditures larger than where they are going to be currently and moving in the future. So overall, a 5.79% increase in the budget. We're still working on athletic bids, trying to work out a few final things on that before that is brought to the board for approval. And we are still waiting on the property insurance renewal. So this was one of the slides I was talking about for the 500s, talking about cyber charter school costs. The board had asked, you know, where the costs were 10 years ago and where they are now. Here's 10 years worth of information. This information is pulled from PDE to provide you the information. And you can see here that we were under, in 2015, we were under $200,000 for cyber charter school costs. And now in 2022 and the current year, we're right around $1 million. So our cyber charter school costs have increased dramatically. This is more just for information because it was requested at the last board meeting. Any questions on this one before I move on to the next one? So here, another question came up about the special education costs, and I thought this was a good slide to show you because this shows you what we receive in revenue and then from the state and federal and what we receive and what we're actually expending. So you can see over the years, our revenue really has not increased much, but our expenditures on special education have increased. We have a need for it here. And this is where a lot of the local tax money is going, is to support these costs. So I'm just throwing this here because you can see where we used to receive close to what we needed to meet the needs of the students. And that has slowly changed over the last 10 years. So questions on this slide?
So under this one, do some of those include the special education cyber schools too? So does it include like a new story as well as cyber special education? Because that's more
Placements.
expensive than regular. Okay. All right. So it's both in there.
It's
Okay.
both in there.
So, yeah, all right.
Any special education.
That's what I was, yeah,
function.
yeah, okay.
I left this slide in here. If you want to do a $10 million project, this is the millage that you need over the next 4 years to cover that $10 million project.
I've just gone back on this other one. So if they do cyber, can they charge special education if the child's on the IEP? So it doesn't have to be, like, if you're on cyber school and you have an IEP, does that get charged as a special education?
Yes.
Okay, so that, and I guess I'm asking because like the,
Nearly $27,000.
yeah, that's what I thought. It's the difference. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Ed is 13,000.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, that was, I just wanted to delineate like where, okay.
So this is the millage needed for a $10 million borrowing. I just left that in here because that's important to remember as you are considering any building projects, what you may need for your borrowing capacity. I left in here the millage history so that you all have that information as well. So, and then this is the mill summary. And, here I gave you a couple different scenarios with no increase. This is leaving it at the 16.53 mils. If you take out the budgetary reserve, you're looking at a $1.4 million deficit. If you increase to, increase 0.56 mils, take it to 1709, you're looking at, just under $1 million deficit. And at the 0.75, you are looking at about an $800,000 deficit. Now, this does not include any of the increases in state
I was
funds
gonna say,
either.
this is based off of last year's state, correct?
Yeah.
Right,
That's-
so we figured at 0.75, if you guesstimate.
So I do have some further information for you on that also. If I can go over to the next
Yep.
slide,
Yep.
and then I will reference something that you have
Gotcha.
further back in your packet as well. Okay. So then I'll talk about fund balance. Where we are this year, just did another run through to do an estimate on where we're coming in this year. We have some good increases in revenue. We had almost a $500,000 increase in state revenue. We had about $350,000 increase in the earned income tax credit because the incomes are up in the area, which is bringing in more revenue for us as well. We had there's one more. Oh, the income, that the interest income. The interest income is up, should come in around $500,000 this year and only being budgeted at 200. Again, that's why I bumped it to 250 because kind of playing in the middle of where we've been. It's a gamble. It could drop at any time, but right now we're doing really well. I don't want to disinclude it, but I want to make sure that we're representing a good portion of it. So in doing that, we're looking at currently no surprises, no large bills and an outside placement that I'm not aware of. Just there's a lot of things that can change us in just one bill. But right now we're looking at a deficit of about $125,000 for this year, moving our projected fund balance to 3.7 million for the end of the year. So that being said, I provide you here with some 5-year budget estimates. So this is a recap when I did also provide you, and it's also in the board docs on the board agenda for the public, a financial forecast summary for a 5-year plan. This is the big picture summary here. I just very summarized it. But the summaries that you have in your packet are more detailed. You can see where I increased the budgets. You can see the percentage increases. I was very conservative in doing this, and you can see that, but I provided you with 2 of them. So the first one is the one that's presented here. The second one, and which is available to the public, again, on the website and the board documents, includes the adequacy investment. So the state has recognized that our district has been inadequately funded. So our adequacy investment is rather large. So if you do see, if they do provide us with that, where we could come out for the year. And I just want to be very transparent in showing you that this is what can happen and that can happen. And this shows you, because that carries forward into future years, and how that impacts us over the next 5 years. So these budget, 5-year estimates include a tax increase each year. So the first year of it is the 17.28, which has the 0.75 increase, that was prepared for this evening's budget. And that shows you where our, beginning fund balance is and where our ending fund balance is. The, second year shows you a 0.26 increase, or yes, 0.26 increase. And each year after that also shows you a 0.26 increase. I just carried that moving forward to include some money in there, for a potential building project, but that does not include increasing the expenditure of a building project. So, you'll see here how it spends down our fund balance over the next 5 years with the minimal, fund balance. But also, if you look at the big picture sheets, you can see, I've increased the basic ed funding, 1.5% each year. So it's just a slow increase. I think, that is something that we can look for because, you know, there is some legislation out there, I believe, providing funding for the next 7 years, for the, adequacy investment. So there is some funds, hopefully, that we will get out there, but to show you the big picture on where we could be over the next 5 years. Questions?
No, I was gonna say the one thing, did you in the projection include like the support staff, like the salary increases that we had agreed upon? Do you know what I mean?
So-
So when you looked at salaries, and then also what also comes into consideration is that there'll be contract negotiations coming up within the next 5 years.
So
Yeah.
if you look at the wage increases, that was considered for next year. And I also looked at the potential retirements we have to try to make some adjustments there. But you'll see I'm only increasing 2% on average over the next couple of years. So they are in there. If you look at the expenditure.
Yeah, I
lines.
was looking at that and I just didn't know if it was baked in, if you, those like definitive things that we know, like as far as like, we know that it is amount per hour based on what we have right now, not projecting, do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, and but I'm also considering looking at who's retired, like who's eligible for retirement, taking a few of those,
Right.
putting first steps in, trying to give you a clearer picture
Yeah.
overall of where being very conservative on this.
Yeah, that's what I was just trying to, okay.
So I provided you with that because there were some questions over 5 years. The contracts do have increases in them, so, you know, as the contracts increase, the expenditures
Right,
increase
and
as
that's
well.
why I was wondering if that's all I was asking.
Alright, and then tonight you'll be approving the proposed final budget, and we will then further discuss and make changes at the work session moving in May. So any changes you'd like to see, please make sure you bring that to the board meeting or the work session on May 28th, because we will need to adopt the final budget for the June 11th final budget. That's all I have this evening. If anyone else has any further questions.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate the updates. Moving on to superintendent reports. We'll start over here. Mr. Blades has volunteered to be a writer in the fall.
His entire row.
I'll start with Chris King. So since the last time we met, we have
officially finished PSA testing, which is an amazing thing. We're hoping for some good results there. One cool positive thing happened with PSA testing. The PTO found a therapy cow from Linden, Carl therapy cow. Was hiding the cow, so they came down for third and fourth grade. Each class got like a half hour with them. We got the history of the no Carl, but just experience a island therapy cow, so it was kind of cool. So that was the highlight of PSA testing. Last week, May 6th through 10th was Teacher Appreciation Week, so the PTO again went out of their way to give everything they could to our teachers to thank them for all they do. Nurses Day was Wednesday, so they gave a huge shout out to Katrina because she does so much as well. Friday night was, I'll speak to Mr. Ferrari as best as I can. Friday was Spring Fling. It was inside Legger's gym. It was awesome. It was packed, nice and warm with everybody in there. So a lot of great events going on. And then Saturday we had our Valley Festival at Community Baptist Church. That was very busy as well too. So many organizations and people that came in to help out. So without all these community partners, we wouldn't have had such a great turnout. We had Light Flight come in, fly over, and threw over top of the football field at Community Baptist Church. So the sheriff's department, the state police, Montrose Fire Department, Elgin Fire Department. So we had the Mountain Montrose Foundation was there. So just a lot of players that put together for all of our kids in our community. So I can't thank everybody enough. The PTO again went out of their way to do what they can for all of our kids and our families. So we're thankful for that. We had our spring concert, fourth grade spring concert last night. They did a phenomenal job again. This is good. It's just huge job bringing two different schools together to harmonize as one. They blew it out of the water, so thank you. Big shout out to them. Let me see what else I got. Field trips coming up. Our schedule's crazy with field trips. We have a field trip every day, 2 a day. So we're just trying to get through our year, enjoy it, stay focused. Kindergarten screens are coming up next week. Mr. Napo, shout out to him for providing us with some mulch, 2 loads of mulch, and my Homie Valley Baptist Church came out last Saturday. They spread it for us on our playground around the boulders out there. So things are looking good, and a little less dirt in the building now, so we don't have to hear about that. But other than that, that's all I have. All right, thank you very much. Mr. Napo. One thing I was gonna say, shout out to them. They did a great job for us. They helped us out a lot. That was great for them. It was great to see. They did a lot of work. Yeah, there's very little bit of time out there. Thanks a lot again. They're great. All right, thank you. Mrs. Albert. Get a PowerPoint.
Now, we have a lot going on too with the middle school, a lot of field trips going on, which is cool. We get kids out of 175 boards up to the 10th grade at Penn State last week, and the kids were buzzing about that, just being on a college campus and just, being out in nature, which I'm telling that. But we have spring chorus concert still going on probably. We have the band concert next week. We've had lots of students win awards as well. We'll have some here next time, the work session. We also, for TMEA, Chorus Fest, Geography Bee. We showed our teacher appreciation from last week, for Teacher Appreciation Week. So a lot of, they're probably on cargo below still. PSSA is wrapped up, 25 boxes yesterday. Carl and Fiesta went away, so that was good. And he's going next week. So lots going on. Getting excited for the new year. Get ready for summer.
Thank you. Sebastian. Mr. Hannah?
Yeah, early intervention update. Mrs. Baker and Mrs. Snyder have been very, very busy going around to a lot of the preschools and evaluating our young students that will be entering school here next year in kindergarten. We have 1 student that will be attending Royal Fox Valley, and then we have 7 students that will be attending Lighter. So they're working very hard to make sure that we have all the supports in place, so these students will be successful in their kindergarten. And then also, I just wanted to note that our teachers are working really hard together to ensure that our students that are transitioning buildings are getting a chance to come to their new school and kind of see that, for that, and also talk to some former students. So we had Mrs. Confer brought over her 8th grade gifted students to the high school. And they actually had a team of gifted students here that they were able to meet with and ask questions. One of the big concerns that our 8th grade students have coming over to the high school, they don't want to get stuck in lockers or anything like that. So that seems to be a big concern. And then at our elementary schools, Mrs. Todd will be taking some of our 4th grade students to McCall for a tour over there as well. And I know Mrs. Sowers has planned to do a virtual tour with the staff at McCall as well. So I'm really appreciative of the fact that people are working together and doing what they can to ensure that our students are going to be comfortable making those transitions. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll give Mr. Farrar one here. So today, we hosted elementary school K through 4 on 2 different shifts as Eric Litwin came over. I'm so sorry. Who's the author of Pete the Cat, right?
Yes, he's
Yeah,
awesome.
so amazing. It was really, really cool. So it was nice to partner with them. As busy as it is right now in high school, it's always nice to see them come over, be able to supply them with some extra space for that. And they did a great job of keeping the volume down during AP testing.
And thank you to the foundation for that as well. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
So we apologize for being late. We had a mid-career parent meeting in the cafeteria. We're talking, we have 22 slated to go to that next year, or 23 actually. To partner with guys in here and go up and do that. So we were going through some of those pieces with them. Let's see what we got coming up. Big thing on the docket coming up is prom, so you're all in chaperone. You're more than welcome. I'm always looking for extra hands and eyes there. Maybe you don't want to, I don't know. But here, here we are trying to survive May apocalypse at the high school and get through AP and Keystone and finals and all those year-ending things and get ready for our graduation and scholarship plans and faculty and all those people in the way. Spring athletics are in full swing and we're doing pretty well through there. And I'm excited. We have, I'll give the official numbers for the birthday one, but we started out, I think, coming into this year with, I believe, 3 students that participated in the dual enrollment. The Commonwealth University, I believe we're if not, we're right around 10 or more. So it's definitely increasing, and the opportunities that it's giving some of our kids to get a leg up. We had a conversation with Birmingham at Commonwealth the other day. They're to the point where we have a few of our gifted students that wanted to take a higher level writing course that they didn't have the prerequisites for because they're not in undergraduate studies there at the college, but they allowed us to use their previous AP schools for AP Lang to allow them to do creative writing class. So there's definitely some really cool opportunities to do that. And I don't know if we talked about it, we're engaging in a partnership with the funding as well. I don't know if we talked about that one here or not.
Something else, one of the dates or not.
Not sure. If not, we can talk more about that.
You were meeting.
We have, in addition to that, we have 4 kiddos going to nationals for FBLA, and we're basically then giving the senior Sharpland and discriminating degree, all going down to continue that journey through FBLA at the national level, which is really exciting. We got a lot of great stuff going on. We just need to make sure that we keep getting the word out of what's happening. It's really special things. Our kids do some awesome stuff, and I don't know if the world knows about it as much as it should. So that's definitely a project.
How do you think, what's an idea of getting it out there? Like, I mean, Sebastian's the tech person, but.
Well, it's only as much. I mean, we can only put something out as much as somebody's going to access it.
True.
I think looking at some of the social media pieces are definitely there in places, but kids are going to be the leaders of that. So that's part of that. A large conversation I had the other week with our ag students and our FFA leadership was they want to be way more visible with what they do in our community and get the word out more of what they do. So that started a conversation with them and another group of kids here and there on how can we do better at our PR and our own branding of the district? So that we do have additional eyes on us for the things that we do that really matter, and just kind of set us apart. So I'm all ears. There's a lot of different ways, but it's trying to reach enough in a way that's manageable.
It's like marketing, so the marketing
Yeah,
teacher.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, where's
it can get out of
Mesa?
hand trying to-
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like, that class, that might be something they could work on.
I think the kids could be their own best cheerleaders.
And they are often, unfortunately on social media, they're also their own worst enemy sometimes. too. So,
True.
you get a little bit of both. It's how do we contain and sustain that at the same time? And just get it out there.
Maybe we could have Melody do a TED Talk here at the school.
I
I believe it.
And I'm trusting that you covered a lot of the other pieces that I didn't. cover.
She did, she covered the whole year.
She did well.
It's a lot.
She did great. Thanks, sir. Mr. T.
I have nothing further to add other than attending 2 concerts. I'm a little kazooed out with kazoos at the elementary and yeah, I know, and kazoos at the 5th grade that I got to catch before the board meeting tonight. So makes me want to go get the kazoo out. And,
Dust it off.
but I have nothing further outside of the updates that have been going out. Lycoming College. So I will add to the Lycoming College thing. Keystone, we were kind of hitching our wagon to them. If you've seen that in the news lately, Keystone College may not be around with some of the financial struggles that they're having. So started talking with Lycoming College, and they're interested in dual enrollment opportunities on campus for kids. And we're doing a heavy focus on teaching teacher recruitment program with them. So it helps that my wife's involved so that the conversations are 24/7 about dual enrollment at Lycoming College right now, and getting something going with them. So that's nice because it's in our backyard. And for teachers, having gone through that program myself, you major in your content area and pick up your certification on the side. By picking up some of those credits early in a teacher prep program, that's going to be less of a burden to get that done in the 4 years. And 2, of course, financially, less of a burden to families. So really excited about that. I have been wanting this teacher, like we run with our Geisinger program. I want this teacher opportunity for our kids. I sat in a scholarship interview today with a student that's going into teaching, and it's a shame that we didn't have that in place for her to have that opportunity up front. So it's coming. It's going to happen. We need to promote our profession as educators for young kids to go in. The teacher shortage is real. Right now, we're robbing from each other in Lycoming County. That's going to run out. You can only hire so many teachers from other districts. So we need new, fresh faces in the business. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Dude, I want some of those. Love pistachios. All right, moving on to the general agenda items. We got a lot on here, so if you guys are okay, see we combine 7.1 through 7.7, and then we'll do the last 4 individually. If you're okay with that, take a look at that, and then I will take a motion to approve those. All right, when you're ready, I'll take a motion to approve those.
Motion to approve.
Second. All right, questions, comments?
I'm just gonna comment because I did ask Dr. or Mr. Termino about the time and attendance and the cost and whether it was in the budget already, and was happy to hear when he did reply that while it is a reoccurring fee of $14,000, annually, we already have a time and attendance system, which you said you cost like, what, 8,000, I think annually, or 6,000?
5,600.
5,600. So while it will end up costing us, I think also from a perspective of having everyone clock in, right, correctly. My anticipation, to be honest with you, is that we're gonna see a cost savings from that, just because it'll be more accurately reflective of actual hours worked.
There's
Right.
more accountability for the.
Yeah, and exactly. So, I just wanted to make that clear that behind the scenes I was asking questions and just wanted to put that out there to not only you guys, but the public as well. So try to be as transparent as possible.
But the new system, the new one is what's in the budget.
Correct. Yeah, that's
Okay.
why I was asking him.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I just wanted to make sure that that was in the budget, and that was
That will
my
not
goal.
change anything.
Correct. That's what, I was double checking. So that's all I had.
All right. Anything else? Any other questions? All right, hearing none. All in favor of approving 7.1 through 7.7, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. All right, 7.8. Approval of S. Jean Coick as a contracted certified cyber school instructor effective July 1st, 2024 through the 2024-2025 school year. Take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
Questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Very well. 7.9, approval of agreement between Montoursville Area School District and the Zurich Insurance Company for student accident insurance effective July 1, 2024. Zurich is offering a renew at a 5% increase in premium for the current benefits. Take a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. Questions? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. 7.10, approval to purchase wrestling mats and installation from Resolite at a cost of $90,805.40. A motion to approve.
Motion. Second.
Questions?
Dan, you sent out an email on the cost of these. Can you just explain that a little further so I can understand it a little better?
Yeah, let me please pull that up. It's 2 rooms. Joe, you might be able to help me out here too. 2 rooms worth of mats, both on the floor and the sidewalls. They go up not quite half, maybe. It also includes the installation of those mats. I'm looking for the quote. Delivery, installation, and
So that's all in at 9,805?
yes, everything's in there. That includes the design that's on the mats. You might have it in the.
What's the life expectancy of those?
So those should be impact tested. I think they give a 12 to 14 year. Yeah, but the impact statement can, the impact testing, I'm thinking budget. We do impact statements internally. The impact testing can extend that. There's no reason to get rid of it if it's still passing that test. We currently do that with the field, the turf out at the stadium, and Joe adds rubber as those numbers come in, the rubber pellets. So same with the wrestling mat. My concern is nobody really knows how old those are in there. They were moved from this building in the nineties and placed in there, and they should not get water underneath them. They are spongy when you walk on them.
Did you get the old
It's a real
school sets
safety.
or the newer ones
We
that
get-
connect,
They are the newer Connect.
that you can roll up?
Yeah, we rolled them up.
Yes.
So you guys can check underneath them
Yep.
more often and.
So we don't run into a similar
Well,
problem.
we hope
because-
that the waterproofing should include one to handle that situation.
Yeah, so.
We hope so too, but just in case.
I totally agree.
Right, I was like-
Black Cloud, they call me for a week.
So the waterproofing
Right.
has not been done yet,
We have to
right?
done for schools out. We have to solve concrete. We have to put pumps in.
Right, and how long will you give it until you know, you're just gonna watch it through some rainfalls
We
and,
won't know. The water table comes up like twice a year, that high enough that we would see something.
yeah,
So we won't know until, we'll know when it's really one of those
yeah.
5-day pouring rains. We'll know. Right?
And you'll be able to roll them up a little easier. 'cause
We
they're-
will, but we
yeah.
don't want water down there, so
No,
they better not.
okay.
Yeah, they're the classic mats. They're double-sided. So that we can flip them if we do have after the waterproofing and it and water happens to get in there again, we can roll those and get those out of there. So we're not shortening the life of the mat.
To make sure you wash your weather.
I do believe every
Oh, trust, I'm with you. I'll call you.
midnight was pouring, I'm worried about the gym.
What
And
kind
that's-
of guarantee are you getting from the people doing the waterproofing?
Where they put the actual waterproofing, 100% lifetime guarantee, no water.
Good enough for me.
That's it.
That's it, huh?
Except it'll come 1 foot over from where they did it.
Exactly.
Oh.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
So I don't know I hope that answers.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Right.
I can get into the 1 1/4 inch thick vinyl coated mat RSP 625 if you want, but I don't think you're not looking for that level of detail.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions for 7.10?
Because I asked this question too on the whole approval of this and looking at the athletic budget and that we're coming pretty close to not having to spend anything extra, just so everyone is clear on that, because when I look at a $90,000 figure, if I'm out there, I'm want to know, are we spending an additional $90,000 and it's coming out there? So I just want to get that out there before we vote up and down.
And to follow up behind what you were saying, Resolite is the only show for
Yeah,
mats.
exactly.
So
That's
it's not
what
like
part
they
of
could,
it too.
you can't really price shop for mats. It's Resolite,
Well,
Resolite, or
it's
Resolite.
price shop. It's those-
There's, yeah, I was gonna say there's,
Yeah, but Resolite has the best
They are
reputation.
still, they protect us still pricing.
Yes,
The numbers on them.
okay.
there's
And-
transparency.
Part of the reason that money is available is because we took advantage of a huge reconditioning sale of football helmets, and a purchase of helmets. So we spent that a year prior budget and left the funds there. So that's why it's available to us now. This is an issue that has been ignored for quite some time. And if we're going to have the program, we need to, as I said before, we need to support it, so. Thank you.
Yep, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right.
On behalf of the wrestlers, thank you.
7.11, approval of an agreement between Montoursville Area School District and Blast IU-17 for shared special education services for the 2024-2025 school year. Take a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions, comments? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, to the personnel section. I don't see any reason we can't combine all of these, 8.1 through 8.8. Unless you guys have an objection on that.
Knowing that 8.2 has been amended to only include Ethan Shower.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Motion to approve. Yes, for that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Second for Mr. Houseneck, thank you.
You're fine, I just.
Any questions or comments on those? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.
And Mr. Showers is here this evening.
All right.
This is with mixed emotions, sir, because you've been one heck of a athletic trainer for us.
Yeah.
Fantastic job that you've done with our kids. So it's gonna be fun seeing you grow into this new role as a teacher here in the district, so.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for the opportunity. I look forward to working with the kids and, you know, letting them have a good time and, you know, just, this is something I've always wanted to do. I actually wanted to go to school for this in the first place, so I've just been kind of trying to figure out a way to get it done without having to go back to school for 3 years for a lesser degree than what I have currently. So finally found that. So I just want to say thank you, and I look forward to working with the kids over in McCall. So thank you.
Thank you.
Just to follow up on that, Mr. Showers is gonna be doing some amazing things with these kids. You know, he doesn't have to offer, he just does. And I know that from a personal experience, and I just want to make sure that everyone's aware that we got a really good person for the position.
Yep.
And as a PE teacher, last time you used to wear ties.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. All right, moving on to transportation. If there's no objections, we'll combine these as well, 9.1 and 9.2. I'll take a motion to approve those. Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Academics 10.1 approval for graduation of those members of the senior class of 2024 who have met all state and district requirements as of June 1st, 2024. We're currently at 136 potential graduates as of May 14th. That's exciting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Congratulations.
We haven't said yes yet.
All of you.
Come on, Mel, you've been here long enough to know. Well, it's 135. All right.
She's like a.
So I
gotta
should
go
have
back to
stayed quiet.
Harrisburg.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Now you can celebrate. All right. All right, policies, 11.1 approval of the first reading of the following policies. Telework, vacation, and therapy dogs. This is the first reading. Take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Second, anyone? Second. Any questions?
Yeah, I had emailed, Mr. T earlier today, because of the, I guess maybe the best word is expansion of what people are now calling emotional support animals. I think we should designate that nothing outside of the therapy dog would be considered an emotional support animal that the kids could bring to school. I don't know how, you know, if I can tweak that a little bit and put that in there, but I think we need to designate that it's just the dogs who are designated as therapy animals.
I think the definition individually trained and certified to work would probably, because you would have to have a certification and not emotion. Anybody can call something an emotional
Yeah,
support
and that's
animal,
what I
right?
want to kind of,
So if there's a certification of that, I think that would sort of handle that.
the animal certified, is that what you're saying?
That's what they call it.
Yeah, because
If
it says
dog,
that in
it
the.
says
It
therapy
says dog, so I guess that's pretty specific. We're only approving dogs.
Yes.
No other animals. unless
Like you
it's just
can't
a
bring your
visit from a
ferret.
horse.
Or
Yeah.
snake.
And this
or
is,
cow.
this is only employees for the support of
I can
students.
see elementary school being fun.
So
Hamsters.
it's not kids bringing their own.
Yeah, and I think that's what I want to differentiate to make
Yep.
sure that that's understood.
A good healthy limp. I agree.
We don't want to turn it into a zoo.
No, because as we learned tonight, there's a cat.
It was a stuffed cow. That wasn't real.
These are good with the cat.
So we're okay as long as it remains policy titled therapy dogs.
Yeah.
Do we have in here anywhere where it says that we have to approve it before it comes? Do you see what I'm
It's
saying?
administrative approval.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. There is, okay, that's why I wasn't.
And is there a limit like that our district has that, on the amount?
Yeah, we're not, yeah. I
How
don't
many are
have
we
that
thinking?
number, 1 to 2 a building.
One
At
to two
most.
buildings? Okay. How many do we have now?
We're piloting 2, 1 at DO and 1 at the high school. It's business manager and the guidance counselor.
Right, so everyone is content with specifying therapy dogs.
Two
administrative
per building
approval,
max,
2 per
right?
building max.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
You
on
want that added?
Yes.
I think
Can I ask one more question? Why do we need more than one per building? I mean, like, how many animals do we need running around? Like, I don't mean to say it like, I mean, that's how, I guess that is my true feeling. Like, I appreciate the animals. I appreciate having like one.
Yep.
But it can be a distraction, more than a help.
Mhm.
And when we have too many, and I don't know why we need more than one.
Would they be in the building at the same time?
So if I can answer, I've done a little bit of research on the topic. I've spent a little bit of time working on this. And so there is 2 at max, but the reason why maybe 2 is if you have an older one and a younger one, and if one passes away, or if one owner leaves the district, because these aren't district owned dogs, these aren't costs to the district. These are, volunteers providing their own time that they went out and, trained their dog, and it's a constant process.
Well,
And-
I understand,
And
but
so, but like if you have 2 and one leaves the district. you
it's
have
okay
one
to
still
have a
there.
little break though, is what I'm saying is if there's a little lull between having one and not having one. At some point you have to get back to being okay of not having one at all, but having one, okay, that's nice, but we don't have to have.
And it's not saying you
multiple.
have to have 2.
Okay.
That was just saying like, to cover that kind of a situation.
Yeah,
We're saying no more than 2. It's not saying that we're going to have.
we have to have 2 per
No,
building.
Yeah, because some buildings
Okay.
may not even have one.
No, it all depends on the employee's willingness to.
It's a volunteer process.
Right. Okay.
It's not. In going through the process,
Mhm.
I went through it from puppy up through.
Yep.
And it takes a lot. I mean, I work with my dog still every day. But I'm very dedicated to this because I want to do further research on it. To look at impact on, there's a lot of study that shows impact on elementary school.
Yeah, I think it can be good. I just don't want it to become how do I
You don't
say it?
want a
Like-
dog in every classroom.
Right, and I like that it's your interest, I just don't, like, I just don't want us to be catering to that.
Right.
I can kind of share some perspective on what it looks like in the day in the high school. I mean, the dog that we're piloting up there hasn't even been here for because of.
No,
AB
I think
testing.
it's good, I want you to, I
No, no,
wanna make
I-
it clear, I think that it's good, but at a limit. That's all.
100%. And that's why, for example, with the AP testing going on, Miss Warnberger, the dog's not here because she can't be with the dog and being tested because that's not the right environment for that as well.
Mhm.
So there are natural laws. There are times where the dog needs a break necessarily too. But, you know, seeing most of the day, what it would look like in terms of our counselor is she's out there in the morning when the kids are coming in, they meet, they greet, they talk. You see some kids that never interacting, talking, smiling. It's definitely shown an impact when students come see her. Because the dog's there and they can pet and talk and work through it. She's not in and out of classrooms with it throughout the day. So it's not from the educational standpoint in the classroom. At the high
Distraction.
school level specifically, it might look very different at the elementary because there's a lot more interaction probably.
Mhm.
It's not an academic distraction at all. You know, there's a learning curve too. And there's bumps along the way too. But I don't want there to be the assumption that the dog's pumping in the classes and all that, because that's not, at least in the high school, that's not how that.
And I
how that
can see
flows.
the counselor level.
Yeah, and I
And
think
they-
that-
Is that
Because I
she
mean,
has
you
the
automatically
time
warm up
capacity
when
to
you see an animal,
not
most of the time,
interrupting
unless
a
you're
class
afraid
and take the
animals.
dog in the bath. There's a little bit more of a flexibility in that day to be able to do that.
Yeah, and one's good, I think it's nice, and I think it can be very helpful to students that need it or just enjoy it, but at a limit.
And at the elementary school, like what we've been doing is, we went out, I was out there,
Before KSSA.
Yeah.
KSSA practice.
So we went out and just visited, talked to the kids, and we had, one student that we noticed a real connection with, and, you know, we've talked about maybe my dog going up and visiting him again, just because Mr. Blaze picked up on a connection that the student had with the dog and thought that might bring some value. So, you know, we'll go up again and visit again. And, you know, at the end of the school year, and just, it's not like when we go up into the elementary schools, it's usually to read or it's a set time that we go up there. It's not just, the dog's not just wandering around.
Yeah. I got it.
I think that we've noticed good impacts on it as far as, because the dogs are not here like all the time, but just like special events to like start to kind of bring them into our daily lives. I think, like you said, Mr. Jones, seeing connections with students who are very quiet sometimes, or they're very reserved, there's specific groups. When they come in the door in the morning, maybe it's Monday morning and you're very upset and you're like, I don't want to be here anymore, I'm tired. But seeing all of the immediate, I want to be at school right now. And then that encourages that positive that you hear throughout the day. And I think, again, like the moderation is good, but we're already seeing back to carry that out. And specifically when we had some traumatic events happen at the beginning of this year, for me, with those therapy dogs that day. I know, I mean, personally, when I saw it in other friends of mine, we got a lot more comfortable and we had a different emotional outlet for all of the grieving emotions that we were trying to handle because of the dog. I agree, like, with what we're saying, but I think it's a very beneficial thing to explore the next few years, because it's already having positive impact on the dog. I hear it talked about all the time, and the dog comes in and they were at the front door, like, oh, you go, like, you can see Lucy, like she's in a lion pain today, or something like that. So I just want to speak to that as a student.
Thank you. Right, and any other comments or questions for those policies? Good. All right. All right, so all in favor, say aye. Aye, all opposed. All right, moving on to budget and finance, 12.1. Approval to award bids for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. This is the paper. Take a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve. Second.
Questions? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. 12.1 approval of the proposed final general fund budget in the amount of 35,450,363 for the fiscal year 2024-2025, including salary and work schedules as proposed. Accept a motion. Motion approved. Second. Questions?
I'd like to say something, more on a personal note. I live here in the borough. And, I'm on a fixed income and a partial salary. And from a personal perspective, I don't know that I could support a raise in taxes for the next year. I think we all need to think really hard about this, not just for ourselves, but for everyone in the community. Because they're all gonna have to deal and carry a partial burden for this.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else?
Well, again, as a board member of 6.5 years, when it's your responsibility as a board member, when you sit on a board, you understand and you know exactly what's going on around you. And sometimes that means that you have to step out of there and you gotta be, well, most people don't want you to be. But you gotta be transparent about it. And you have to be fiscally responsible as much as you can. So I sit here after 6.5 years and see what we've had to deal with and the shortcomings we keep falling over ourselves every year. And something has to be done about it. It isn't a matter of me not respecting anybody who wants not taxes to go up, but as a board member and knowing what happens and knowing where the money goes and knowing what we need to provide. And you keep year after year having these shortcomings, something has to change. And for me to sit here and say no tax increase would be a disservice to the community. That's just good for me.
I would like to see what the state brings in. I think 0.75 would be too much. I don't, at this point, I'm not sure that I would vote for that. So I want to see some compromise on the other side. I mean, I don't like starting on the high end and saying we'll work down. I mean, it's like starting with a pot of money and, then saying, oh, well, we only have, 10 cents. It's kind of disappointing at the end to do it that way. So that's where I'm at on it.
But less than 3% in 10 years. Less than 3%. And then you go ahead and look what your fuel's gone in the last 10 years. Look at what the housing market has done in the last 10 years. Just all you have to do is just put all the numbers together, and then when it comes down to the final on a school district and what you're doing as far as tax increases, and to say that the school boards are not being fiscally responsible, I think is foolish to say. Because this school district has been very responsible in what they're doing with their money.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
I'm saying that in a general note.
Oh, okay. Anyone that did, gotcha.
And I think also even to your point, Dan, is that when you look at even just from a transportation cost standpoint, I mean, those have gone up exorbitantly over the last 3 years, just with gas pricing, and not to fault of transportation services because they have to pass it along. But I even from sitting in board meetings past to now, and as a district, we can't just keep absorbing those costs To your point, Dan, and I don't think anyone wants to ever raise taxes. I don't think they ever do, but I think you also have to make sure you're not, that you are being fiscally responsible, and the fact that we need to just completely support the programs. I mean, we can't keep going into the hole just to avoid a tax increase. And we do have building projects, and whether any of us like it or not, a decision has to be made on that, and something has to be done to the buildings regardless of what any of us want. Whether it's open, combined, we'll make that decision at some point, I'm sure this year. And to start at a point of being negative going into a building project would just make it worse. I mean, like I said, no one wants to sit here. I don't want to pay more taxes. I already pay enough, quite frankly, but this is the school district, and the fact that only 2 tax increases have occurred in the last 5 years when everything else has skyrocketed. I don't know. I just think we'll be doing a disservice to the community if we don't get close to balance this year going into a building project, which we're going to be going, regardless of what we do, we have to do something with the building.
I don't think any of us want to go backwards, and that's basically what we're borderline doing.
Well, that's what, exactly, that's what I'm just.
And to be a school board member and watch things materialize and go backwards as your tenure is not a good idea. It's not a good feeling either. I mean, I've sat and I've watched other things that have taken a back seat because of other things that are completely out of the board's control. And that's not a fun place to be. And moving forward, I just hope that people can understand that you do have to plan for the future, and you do have to understand that the decisions that are going to be made over the next year in regards to either closing or consolidating, either way you look at it, you're going to spend money and doing that. And it is our responsibility to make sure that our students are well taken care of, our facilities are maintained and well taken care of, and we do it to the best of our ability, being fiscally responsible. They are our 3 major things that we need to be concerned about as board members, and so far we're doing.
Now myself, like Tina, I'm retired on a fixed income. I don't want to see an increase. But when I ran for this board, I ran for the goal of taking care of the kids in this town, taking care of the taxpayers. But if push comes to shove, the kids triumph the taxpayers. And we do have a future to look at. My goal, if it's not already there, is Mentorzo's the best damn school district in the country. Okay? So that's what I want it to be. If it costs some money, hey, there's 1 million jobs out there, get a part-time job. I mean, that's all there is to it.
So the way I look, I'm with you, Mr. Hausnick, but I'm also with you too, Tina. I don't want to see an increase. And in the past few years, we've had 0 increase, which we haven't done in a while, which is nice. So a little reprieve, a little break. I don't want to pay any taxes. I don't think anyone wants to pay any taxes, but there's only one that I have a say in, and it's this one. That I'm going to go for this one every time because of the impact, like Mr. Hausnick said. I don't want to do it. I don't want to add to it, but I know that at least that money is going to go towards something that's going to be beneficial in the future. I can't guarantee that on all the other taxes that I pay, but this one I can. And that's why I sit in this position, is to make sure that that money does go to what it's going to. Again, I don't want to do it, but we can't continue to sit back and do nothing, or we're going to go in a wrong direction real fast.
As with everybody else, I don't like to see taxes being raised. I've seen budgets my whole career. However, we are in a state of inflation that hasn't been seen over the last 40 years. We have a president of the United States that says inflation was up 9.1% when I came into office. which is a total lie, it was at 1.4%, okay? So right now, we're at an inflation rate at the highest we've been in 40 years. What does that do to us here? Okay, well, that straps our hands. We had a chance to raise taxes last year, we didn't do it. So here we are now with a 0.75 recommendation. We have to continue to support what we've put together so far. If we don't continue to support what we have now, it'll deteriorate. And down the line, 2 or 3 boards from where we are now, okay, the kids will suffer, as Mr. Hoffman said. And that's the last thing I want to see. The last thing I want to see. I want to see them have the best possible facilities, teachers, books as possible for the amount of money we have. And having sat here for the last 2.5 years, I know we are not fiscally irresponsible. I know we're not. Okay, but now we have to be fiscally responsible and make sure that our house is in order so that we can move forward.
I know I'm new to the school board and everything. I came in running for the school board to support the community and the kids. And, you know, with the people we have on the school board right now, I think I find, I'm not saying in the past you didn't have people that were supporting stuff, but everybody that's on this board right now ask the right questions. We look for more information. You know, I think we're doing what we need to do to make a better decision, what we need to do for the kids and for the community. You know, as being a parent myself, I would do anything for my kid to help support him, you know, or any other student in the community. It's part of your life as a parent to support your kids, no matter what type of, you know, you gotta take away from your own life, the needs that you want, you gotta give to your kid. As far as the taxes and stuff, yeah, we have buildings that need repair. There's gonna have to be decisions made on it. I would hope that the community stands behind the board members and what we decide on, and we're gonna listen to everybody in the community and what, you know, as far as the information they wanna give us. But it is a hard decision to make, so, you know, I don't think anybody takes it lightly, what they have to do.
All right, any other comments, questions? That's good stuff. Thank you, everyone. All right, all in favor of 12.2, say aye. Aye. Oh, we got a roll call this one? My apologies. Yep, go ahead.
Mr. Albert,
Yes.
Mr. Badger.
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Mr. Husnick.
Yes.
Ms. McCoy.
No.
Mrs. Myers.
Yes.
Mrs. Oberheim.
And this is my first vote on a budget, so I just have clarification. This is not approving a tax increase. This is only approving the initial.
Yeah.
So what
You know.
this does is allows me to advertise tomorrow that we are preparing to approve a final budget approval in June. This is basically, yeah, so I can post this proposed budget for review,
June 14th was when we locked everything.
for June 11th.
I'm sorry.
Correct. Can I ask another question?
Mm-hmm.
Even with this budget, that doesn't mean that we're locking, that we would have to have a 0.75 increase because the state numbers haven't come in and they could be even better than the 3%. Is that right? Okay.
But you most likely won't have state numbers next time we revisit this at the May work session.
Okay, and
We may not have those until, who knows with Harrisburg.
right, so, but historically it has been 3%. Are you able to plug that in as like a probably?
Right?
Have prior year, that's what we've done.
Oh, okay.
I can take the average. And look at that and bring that to you for the, work session.
That would be nice. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Quite all right.
Suspense, it was suspenseful.
And, Mr. Young.
Yeah.
All right, Yep, very well. So before we move on to committee reports and the final round of public comment, it's 8:59 PM. So we're approaching we're 1 minute away from our 2-hour time limit. So we'll need a motion to approve to expand, 30 minutes max? Is that how we typically do it? Do a 30-minute extension on our time limit. So,
Second.
all right, all in favor of extending 30 minutes, say aye. Aye, all opposed. Very well. All right, thank you very much. Committee reports. Oh,
Yes. PSBA, Mrs. Overheim.
No PSBA tonight.
Policy Committee, Mrs. LaFleur.
We reviewed the 3 policies earlier tonight, and I'll be working with Mr. T on upcoming policies that we're looking to revise. There's several that are coming down the pipe.
Several.
Thank you. IU, Mrs. Meyer.
I handed you all out the report summary from the IU for the last month, so you can review at your pleasure, and I won't take up any more time.
LCTC, Mr. Gardner.
For the LCTC, there's really nothing new. They have a meeting coming up this Thursday, hopefully next meeting or something.
Thank you. Memorial Gardens, Mr. Housenet.
Memorial Gardens will be taken care of this Saturday, May 18th. They'll be starting at 9 a.m. Miss Tira and the Key Club will be there. Some of the others, no leaves to be raked. A lot of branches and twigs on the rocks that have to be cleaned up, and we're getting 2 to 3 yards of mulch that'll be spread. And there might be a few bushes that have to be replaced, but we're gonna take a look at that and get a cost on them before they're done. So that'll be this weekend.
Thank you. Budget, Mrs. McCoy, Mr. Housenet. You want to touch on that anymore? I haven't. Montourville Foundation, Mr. T.
They're busy getting ready for their event in June.
I was gonna say, I have flyers that,
Oh, good.
look, I helped you out. I have flyers for the foundation.
Sharon's helpful.
June 8th.
I tried.
Very helpful tonight. At the
I did,
Legion.
I printed everything out and everything.
Post 104, hatchet throwing, food, I think a bunch of food trucks are coming. Kids activities, silent auction, raffle baskets, provided by a lot of our groups here in the schools, 50/50 and a cash bar. So they're calling it Family Day fundraiser. And again, they really have some good foundation under them now that they're able to provide us some funds and do some cool things for us. The author visit today was one of those, so thank you to the foundation.
Thank you. Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Albert.
All I got for tonight is what Joe would be saying, the grass is growing, the weeds are dying.
Is it getting cut? Is it getting cut? Extracurricular, Mr. Badger and Mr. Housenet.
I'll go first because mine's quick.
Yeah.
I always have good updates. So, I think we talked about this in the last meeting, but I want to throw it out again because it's happening this week. But the Montoursville Chamber of Commerce, every year we do the FBLA Scholarship Award. And this year it went to Noah Hepler. He wrote an awesome essay for us. I think we had 3 or 4 this year, which is great because the numbers have been pretty low. So, but they were all great, but Noah's was outstanding. So I think Thursday, we're meeting at our chamber meeting. We're trying to get Joe Ham there to help us present that to him. So congratulations, Noah Hepler.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Kaiser too. She does a great job with all that stuff.
Okay, update on everything. Junior high girls soccer finished 4-5-1, junior high boys 8-6-2. Both were fairly successful. The boys tennis team finished 9-5, 3rd place in their division in the league. In team districts, they lost in the first round to Central Columbia. In doubles, which are going on right now, our best double team lost in the quarterfinals. In the single competition, Wyatt Fry made it to the semifinals. Unfortunately, he had to go against last year's district champ, who also became this year's district champ. And I just want to shout out on Wyatt Fry. Here's a young man that was named all conference in soccer, football, basketball, and will be in tennis. 4 sports in 1 year. Okay. Track and field, both boys and girls were 2 and 7 and doing tri meets. They've had the FISAC 9 and 10 grade meet. Our 4x400 relay team of Quinn and Mason Winslow, Adam Shear, and Colton Beadle took first. Also, Anna Baylor took, the mailing girl took first. Then this past weekend was a PZAC meet with all the members of the teams. And we had a couple 3rd place finishers in the boys and a 6th place finisher. Anna Baylor took first in the discus in the league with district competition coming up. Girls softball's 10 and 8 with a couple games to play yet. They've qualified for the district playoffs. And by giving Loyalsock their only loss of the season so far this year, you know, hopefully the district playoffs will go well. The boys JV baseball team had a 9-2-1 record and was playing Loyalsock today, whether that game got in or not. The varsity team's 13-4. They had a game at Danville today that was postponed after the 2nd inning on rain. And they're supposed to play Honesdale tomorrow. Right now, they're seeded. They go back and forth and being the number 1 seed or Danville, the number 1 seed for the upcoming district playoffs. And with all these teams, the one thing I've seen is it's a lot of underclassmen on all the teams. So there's a lot of good things to come.
That's great. Thank you. Safety and security, there'll be an executive meeting before the next board meeting on May 28th to discuss numerous items. We did not receive any money from the security grant. It was a 5 million total being.
We applied for almost 500,000.
Yeah, we did not receive any.
Didn't receive it.
We did receive the $35,000 grant, which will go to signage.
Signage, what else is in that? Some cameras. We're gonna stretch it as far as we can.
Yeah, signage and upgrade cameras. So we're still plugging ahead with that. The last meeting or the meeting before, we had a new hire. I wasn't here for that. Just to let you know, Jim Warner, he was a former captain of the state police in Montoursville, which is right here in the borough. So he's very, very familiar with the borough and the people and the surroundings. So that would be good to have him on board.
All right. Thanks, sir. All right, moving on to the final public comment section of the evening. Again, this is for residents, taxpayers, comment on matters of concern, official action, or deliberation before the board. You have 3 unpaused minutes.
I'm back up again, Kathy Burns. I was playing beat the clock before, so I didn't finish. But I want to finish, and I want to tell each and every one of you, I do not envy your position. All right, I understand. I got it. I want to point out a couple of things. This is not only about the seniors that I was referring to. This is about a lot of the single parents in the borough. Many of them have been walking to my office because they lost their Medicaid benefits due to the change in the COVID. The regulations with the COVIDs were lifted to people that got Medicaid. They're coming into my office and they're having to apply for Penny, and they're having to face co-pays and premiums. These are single parents of kids in your school district, my school district here. And we're doing as much as we can for them, whether they rent or own. They're going to have to absorb part of that tax increase that you folks are thinking about implementing. The borough residents alone they're in a losing trifecta. And that trifecta is the assessment that was approved by the county commissioners that is coming. Many of them are going to be subject to a $10,000 minimum on curb repairs imposed by the borough, and then your school property tax increase. And in the borough alone, I do not have the figures for the entire school district, but in the borough alone, 32% are 65 and over. You want to tell them to get a part-time job? Where are they going to go? Hall Baker? Walmart, yeah, okay. I'll see you there as a greeter when you can't afford yours. So 32% in the borough are 65 plus. 15% of those people are below the federal poverty level, which is $43,946. If you pick up that paper that I gave you, if you kindly pick that up, the insurance premiums on there alone, and I deal in insurance, the insurance premiums on there alone only reference their Medicare premiums. They do not reference the premiums that that man that spoke earlier have to pay in addition to what this figure is. $4,200 he pays in addition to this figure right here. I figured Medicare only. And with the Deficit Reduction Act that was just passed, every senior in the United States is going to face at least a 5-time increase in the cost of their Medicare drug plans. So I'm referencing the seniors, but I'm also referencing the single parents. That man back there, the gentleman that was the father of the fellow with the peanuts, or excuse me, pistachios, God love him. He was a stepfather that stepped up and took the responsibility of raising a son that was not his. A lot of the kids are not that fortunate in this school district. And those kids are suffering. And any amount of increase in the way of a property tax, if they own it or if they rent, those parents are going to have to absorb that. So you want to give the best for your kids, that's great. I'm happy. We want to be the best school in the town or with the country. That's great. But you have to look overall at everyone in the community here, from the kids all the way up to the old people that have to get a part-time job.
All right, Kathy, that's your 3 minutes.
All right, one more thing I want to say, and I'll get off here. On the bus, on the transportation, the transportation contractors are paid above the federal limit. I just want you to know that. And if they do get an increase in the gasoline, part of that increase is paid, half of that is paid back to the contractors. I just wanted to add that for you. So I thank you very much. I appreciate what you're all doing, and I don't envy you once again. So thank you. I hope you have a great night.
Jack Callahan, Arch Street, Matursville. I just want to say, the scoreboard out there for graduation, I'd like to see it like it was 2 years ago. I don't know about last year. I didn't go to graduation, but I'd like to see 2014 or 2024 on the scoreboard. You might as well, seeing a blank scoreboard up there is just zilch. And that's what I say. You get put at 2024 or whatever. And I don't know if you can write anything on there. I don't know if the writing's, congratulations or whatever, but I'd like to see 2024. I mean, they did it for 2022 because I brought it up then. And now I'm bringing it up now so they can, you can put it on there. I hope so.
Ron Snell, Lower Manor Road. I'm not going to stand up here and go over how much the community hurts when taxes are increased. I think Mrs. Burns already went over that, so there's no sense harping on that. But what I want to say is, I brought up at the last meeting that you all should ask for zero-based budget to see what that looks like. And I'm glad somebody brought up tonight about getting a look at a budget with a 3% increase in state funding. Because it's historically known that the state gives a 3% increase most every year, and with the law, the lawsuit that was filed that the state lost, the governor plans on trying to get $1.4 billion more allocated to school districts. While he might not get that much, it's still going to be more than 3%. So you need to see a budget that it has at least a 3% increase in state funding. As far as a zero-based budget, sure, it's a little bit more work for somebody to do a zero-based budget, but these taxpayers pay big money for administrators to do their job. The other thing I want to bring up is it was brought up tonight by a board member that is there a way to get information out more on students' accomplishments and what they're doing. Mr. Callahan brought up a good way to get some of that information out. And that's an information board here at the high school to put information on. That's all I got.
All right, if there's no one else in the room, we have no one on Zoom with the exception of our solicitor, so I don't think he needs to go raise his hand, but that will wrap up our public comment section. Before we make a motion to adjourn, we're gonna just to let you know, we're gonna have an executive session after this meeting to talk on personnel and things that we won't talk about in a public meeting like this, so. All right, so with that being said, I will take motions to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Very well. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Yeah. There's time for it.
No.
Great party.
We're gonna do it in the bathroom. Let's go.